So, I'm back to uploading FIFA 20 again on the channel. Especially after I said I wasn't going to bother. FIFA 20, dead and buried. It bored me. You know, it didn't hold my interest like PES 20 has this year. But we're back. And my thinking is, let's get Season 1 done. I left it open. And I hate doing that. I hate just walking away from something like that. So, my thinking is, let's get this first season done at least. And then let's see what FIFA 21 brings. Maybe we'll pick it up from there. We'll start fresh and all that. I mean, we got a glimpse of FIFA 21, didn't we, the other week? It seems as though they've actually improved bits of it. You know, the simulation, being able to drop in, drop out of the game and so on. Let's see what else they bring to career mode for FIFA 21 before I make up my mind with actually getting FIFA this year. That's the point I'm at now. I need to see some sort of improvement. I need to see something for career mode. That's the only reason I buy FIFAs. I don't really play Ultimate Team. I rarely use the multiplayer. So I need to see some sort of an improvement for career mode. Because I want to be producing the best content that I can for this channel. For you guys that have taken the time to subscribe. And for me, FIFA 20 this year, it didn't strike the right chords. It just didn't sit right with me, if you know what I mean. I'm sure some of you have been through it. And I think mainly for me, it was the gameplay. The gameplay was just, I don't know, it's almost as if you're floating across the ground. I couldn't be dealing with that. And then came along PES. I took a chance on PES back in September. I was absolutely sold. I've had so much fun with it, and you can tell because we're up to 4 or 5 seasons, about to head into the 5th season, the final season with United. Normally, if I'm enjoying a game so much, like I have done with PES, yeah, I'm going to pump out 4 or 5 seasons in a year before the new game drops. But FIFA 20 it just wasn't there. Yeah, they've got all the licenses of the Europa League, as you can see here, the Champions League, the Premier League as well, but for me, at the bottom of it all, it just has to be gameplay. And I think what rankled me a bit as well was the fact that, you know, year in, year out, we're getting promised this, we're promised that, yeah, we're listening to you, we want all your suggestions, we're changing career modes. I mean, look how many times that we've had the hashtag change career mode trending on Twitter, and yet EA have failed to do anything about it. Are they really listening? I don't think so. So I'm at that stage now where I need to see an improvement. I need to see something before I go ahead and pre-order the game before I buy it. Whereas before, for me, and I'm sure for many other people as well, they thought, oh, FIFA's coming out, that's a must-buy, we'll pre-order it now. Don't really need to see any news, we don't need to see any trailers and so on. Just pre-order it. Whereas this year for FIFA 20, you know, we've all had the pandemic. We've all gone through it. I think it's time we be a bit more methodical in our approach in purchasing FIFA this year. Why drop 50, 60 quid on a game that's going to be broken from day one and that's going to take maybe a month or 2 to be fixed by the developers? And if you're like me and you only really buy FIFA 4 career mode, if that mode isn't even improved upon, doesn't have any new additions or anything, then what's the point? What is the point? But anyway, enough of the rants. We're going to focus on finishing Season 1 now. There's not many games left. I mean, we're up to, what, episode 22 now. Let's focus on, let's power through this first and only season on FIFA 20. And, you know, that's a first as well for this channel. You look at how long I've been doing this for. I've averaged, what, 3-4 seasons with United or any other team on a FIFA, whereas this year it's just 1 season. Just 1 season with 1 club. Just goes to show how far, in my opinion, FIFA has fallen. No, I need to stop. I could go on for the whole video ranting, and I don't want to do that. So we start the episode away to Brighton. It finished 0-0. Disappointing, but it just sums up our league form this season. We're, what, 5th? 7 games to go now. The league's outside maybe a Champions League spot as well, as we're 9 points behind 4th place Chelsea. They occupy that, and they've held on to that for the majority of this season. I mean, 7 games, still a lot of football to be played, as I always say. Anything can happen, but I think, looking at things, the only way we're going to be able to qualify for the Champions League this season is by winning this competition, which we're playing in right now, which you guys can see. It's the first leg of the quarterfinals against St Etienne. We went a goal down through a wonderful finish from James Ward-Prowse, and then, as we've just seen, Marcus Rashford stepping up for that equalising penalty, taken nice and confidently, cool, calm, composed. It's all there from Marcus Rashford. But that finish from James Ward-Prowse, had to watch it and watch it again. It was beautifully taken, and it's surprising to see a player like James Ward-Prowse at St Etienne. Again, transfers, they just don't make any sense whatsoever. But you can see, 89th minute, what a moment. Does it get any better than that? A European night under the lights of Old Trafford. 89th minute, Paul Pogba scoring the winning goal, making it 2-1. Great advantage to have going into that second leg in France. Paul Pogba has a bit of luck as well. Keeper does initially save it, and then it bounces back up off Pogba's chest. So Manchester United start the quarterfinal strong. There is James Ward-Prowse scoring that beautiful goal at the start of the first half, the start of the game. His quality not quite enough for his team to get across the line here at Old Trafford. They do have a goal though, which they take into the second leg, the second half really, in this tie, as we move on to our next game in the Premier League. Manchester United against Bournemouth. Always a tricky one this, especially away from home. I was glad that we were taking on Bournemouth. And you guys need to take into account as well, I hadn't played FIFA for quite some time. We're on Legendary as well, playing these first couple of games of this episode, and to try and finish this season. It's almost as if this series has had a pandemic of its own. We've had a couple of months rest, haven't we? And then we're just ploughing on with the rest of the season. But it's Bournemouth that take the early lead in this Premier League game. Chalov with a wonderful finish, really, the way he turns. Great control. Has a bit of help from the post. Bournemouth in the lead. Bournemouth without Eddie Howe now in real life. You got to feel for Eddie Howe. You know, he's seen Bournemouth through so much. He did such a brilliant job, and it just wasn't to be for them this year. And now, in real life, they're back down into the Championship. Paul Pogba levels things. It's in a bit of a run at the moment. Goal-scoring run, Paul Pogba. Goal on Thursday night. A goal here in this game against Bournemouth to level it back up. And look at the footwork of Stanislas here as he finds Chalov, who gets his second of the game, on for a hat-trick. Bournemouth back in the lead at Old Trafford. And you can just tell my defending not up to scratch here. Lindelof should be making a challenge there. Maguire slightly out of position. Needed to be better, but McTominay does find James. Rashford, Martial spearheading our attack here. It had to be done. Rashford, nice, cheap goal. We needed it. It's another equaliser for United. 2-2, pegging Bournemouth back. 62 minutes gone. The goal coming from Tony Marshall. Rashford and Martial next season in real life are going to be unbelievable. And if we add Sancho to that team as well, and Mason Greenwood, so much pace, it's going to be scary next season. And then Paul Pogba in this game steps up, scores the winning goal once again. So we did it against St Etienne on the Thursday night Europa League game, and he does it here against Bournemouth. It's a big goal, and it's a big win for Manchester United, big 3 points. Obviously we're going to keep on fighting until the very last day of the league and see what comes of it. We got our fingers tightly crossed that Chelsea do drop a few points along the way. But pulling all the strings in this game was Jefferson Lerma. A decent game from him. overall, but he did go walking off the pitch at Old Trafford, stroking his chin, thinking, well, where did it all go wrong? So that win for Manchester United sees us down to just 6 games left to be played, and still 9 points behind Chelsea, who occupy 4th place. You can see that Chelsea won 1-0, just 1-0 at home to Watford there, on the same day that we beat Bournemouth. We've got a bit of breathing space between ourselves and West Ham. At the moment, it's looking like it's going to be 5th. It's going to be Europa League for next season. So, obviously, we've got to go all out. We've got to be playing our best team in every single Europa game that we play. And that was another thing as well. You know, when I loaded up FIFA 20 to record this, I looked back at the team and I was like, the transfers were all wrong. The players that I brought in, I wasn't happy with it. Bringing in Christoph Kramer, it was a good idea. You know, we needed to strengthen that CDM role because we let Matic go at the start of the season. But I look back on it now and I'm thinking we needed to bring in someone like Ndidi. I think he would have been fantastic. Maybe Donny van der Beek. I should have gone for Jadon Sancho. He might have just lit a fire for me to continue on with this career mode. But looking at the top goal scorers list, you can see Martial there sitting in 3rd. 20 goals to his name so far this season. It's great to see as we roll on into our next game, the final game of this episode, the second leg of the quarterfinals against Saint Etienne. Always going to be a tricky tie. Having to travel for this one on a Thursday night. Did rotate slightly after that decent win against Bournemouth on the weekend, that 3-2 win. James Maddison back into the lineup alongside Fred and Pogba in midfield. No Bruno Fernandes. Tuanzebe starts alongside Harry Maguire. That was also something else that I wanted to achieve in this career mode when I first started it, was to try and create some sort of partnership between Tuanzebe and Harry Maguire instead of dipping into the transfer market. I'm not sure what you guys think about that. If FIFA 21 career mode does turn out to be groundbreaking, they've really done a lot to it, and I do decide to go for it, would you guys be happy with me not, buying so many players and just sticking with what we have, working with what we have, and seeing what we can come up with in a season? I'm not saying I'd never, ever buy a player. I'm just saying, maybe buy 1 or 2 players just in the summer transfer window and be done with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As we've just seen as well, Saint Etienne taking a 1-0 lead in this game to level things on aggregate 2-2. Got me worrying here, but Paul Pogba steps up, and Paul Pogba almost made it 1-1 and 3-2 on the night. But it did get me sweating when they scored that goal. I was like, oh no. I want to finish this season on a flourish with a piece of silverware, kind of what Jose Mourinho did in real life in his second season, winning the Europa, winning the Carabao Cup. We haven't done that, obviously, but it would be nice to come away with the Europa League, as Anthony Martial, with those great reflexes, great reactions, stays on his feet inside the box and levels things on the night, makes it 3-2 on aggregate. Glimmer of hope for Manchester United and their chance of reaching the semi-finals. And towards the end of the game, Bruno Fernandes had come on, and it was Bruno Fernandes that fires us into the next round. It's all but dead and buried this tie against Saint Etienne. We've pulled this one out the bag. Finishes 2-1. Bruno Fernandes, our Portuguese Magnifico, stepping up. Had such an impact on the game, coming off the bench. Boos all around. United through to the next round. Thanks to that man there. Number 18, Mr. Undefined. Whilst playing these games as well, I did see quite a glimmer of hope, really. That partnership between him and Paul Pogba. What we saw in real life towards the end of this current season was brilliant. But to end the episode, let's have the Europa League semi-final draw. Manchester United then will play Lazio away from home in the first leg. In the other tie, we've got Sevilla against Inter Milan. So if we can get past Lazio, we're looking at maybe a Sevilla-Inter Milan final. Should be interesting. Hopefully we can make it. That's going to be it for this return episode of this FIFA 20 career mode with Manchester United. Remember, we're just finishing the first season, and that's it. The first and only season. Hope you guys have enjoyed. See you in the next one.